Welcome, everyone, to the Downstream session of the 2021 Esri Petroleum User Group meeting. My name is Sumant Malavaram. I'm an account manager on the Natural Resources team based out of San Antonio, Texas. I'll be your host for the next 2 hours as we go through this session. I'm very glad and excited to have you here today, and I hope you have enjoyed the 3 other sessions, including pipelines and operations leading up to this one. I'd like to provide some context on this session first. As we were preparing over the last several weeks, we realized an interesting paradox. The so-called downstream segment in the energy industry is perhaps not as clearly defined as the upstream, which is primarily about exploration and production, or midstream, which is about pipelines. We really see a wide range of business and technical domains, from refineries and facilities management to distribution, which, as we know, includes pipelines and related infrastructure. And then there is logistics, transportation, all the way down to retail and real estate, which is the end customer touchpoint. Through this session, we hope to inspire new ideas around the value of location and GIS in this entire value chain. So, as we kick off this session, I will first discuss and present some trends that we're observing based on our own work, working with you guys. Given the breadth and scope of this space, for today's session, we have taken the perspective of 3 broad categories, with an interesting lineup of speakers and presenters whose stories build upon each other. First, we will look at refineries from a facilities management perspective, specifically around turnaround planning. Second, we will look at data management and collaboration in the context of stakeholder communications. And in the third session, we will hear about the world of retail and real estate. Through these sessions, we will explore the pervasive nature of location-based data across business functions and the ever-increasing need for insights. Our earnest hope is that these presentations will inspire new ways of thinking, or might I say even rethinking of how geospatial technology can add value in the downstream sector. As we go through this process, I would like to encourage you all to post questions as they occur during the presentation in the comment box. Please help us by referencing the actual section and or presenter for your questions so we can tie those things on the back end. We'll go through all the presentations and we'll have an open live Q&A in the end where we will try to answer all of these questions as much as possible. So let's get started. First, I would like to take a few minutes to set the context for this notion of a digital twin and how location fits into it. In the downstream space and across business functions, really, there are different personas focused on critical outcomes for their business. They go through a variety of workflows and use different technologies in their own ways, but they all have one single goal in mind. And that is to go from data to decisions in the most effective and efficient manner. In other words, how do we optimize time to value? We then have a steady stream of new and emerging technologies and concepts coming into play in every aspect of this paradigm. IoT, cloud, big data have all matured to a point where a true digital twin is no longer an aspirational goal. We at Esri here see this manifesting itself as a geospatial digital twin. And that's because every aspect of your data has a location component or geography that's associated with it and data about that location. So what this means is every decision requires context and insight within the geographic framework. The expectation here is that this information is readily and easily accessible in real time. This brings us to the notion of location intelligence. We'll be talking about this theme throughout the whole session. So let's start by defining it first for a frame of reference. By definition, location intelligence is the entire practice of going from data to decisions, with a focus on insights, engagement, and user experiences. The user is the key here because at the end of the day, it's the people that get the work done. This means supporting for different user types enabled by an enterprise platform experience, supporting services to meet those individual user needs, and an extended partner ecosystem to meet the overall enterprise needs. At the core of all these concepts, however, is data. It always comes back to data. So let's look at 3 key trends that are driving the digital transformation around data and accessibility. The first trend I want to talk about is interoperability at scale. It's no longer a one-size-fits-all approach today. We see an ecosystem approach to technology investments. The interconnected nature of business is driving this interoperability at scale. Every aspect of the business is measured and tracked over time. Advances in hardware and compute resources have brought the cost of the storage down, making big data analytics easily accessible. Using a services-oriented architecture framework, ArcGIS can tie into virtually any data source and provide a rich, distributed network of services that brings people together and helps with knowledge sharing. When it comes to analytics, there's really no longer a need to move data around from one system to another. Instead, we can bring geospatial analytics to your data systems and data stores at scale through the services-oriented architecture. The second trend is embedded systems. It's a natural evolution of interoperability, that is to embed geospatial technology inside other business systems. This has resulted in geo-enabling business systems such as SAP HANA, IBM, Autodesk, and of course, Microsoft. What this means to our customers is that they can now leverage geospatial capabilities natively inside these business systems that they work on daily basis without ever having to leave those systems. For the rest of the organization, this unlocks a seamless flow of data to other areas of the business, enabling real-time collaboration and interaction. And the third trend is the geospatial infrastructure, again, at scale. We all witnessed firsthand the move towards consumerization of IT. How we live and work has evolved in this new digital paradigm, and technology is a central part of it. By connecting and tracking everything, there is now more data that's readily available through different platforms. So as your organization's needs evolve, we can scale up or down the requisite geospatial infrastructure along with it, with flexible deployment options, whether we're talking on-prem or cloud, multi-cloud, or hybrid. You can almost bring a design thinking approach to the technology stack with the goal of delivering fit-for-purpose solutions and services across different business functions. So these 3 trends collectively come together to support this notion of a geospatial digital twin, which in turn drives location intelligence, leading to insights at the speed of business. So in this modern geospatial framework, ArcGIS is that foundation for your digital twin. ArcGIS brings people together in a collaborative system of engagement platform by interconnecting and integrating systems and processes and giving a new meaning towards decision-making that's based on shared understanding. In practical terms, however, we can see that there are geospatial touchpoints across all aspects of the energy value chain, from production to transportation, from refineries to distribution and retail. All of this ties back to that singular vision of growing and making location intelligence pervasive across the enterprise. And the system of engagement for our users means simple, fit-for-purpose apps that can be accessed both online or offline or on any device. You'll see these reflected in the presentations today.